Hey y'all, this is Cindy. I'm the Tireless Tangler. Thank you so much for being with me today for another episode of Tangle Time. We are going to be tackling 3 of the tangles today that are in the Inktober list for this year. And I am trying to hop in where you guys are, but I'm still a day behind here. So what we have here is Waybop, we have Bosch, and we have Eugo. And I can't remember what order they were in. I think it's Bosch, Waybop, and Eugo, but it doesn't matter anyway. They're around the 13th, 12th, 13th, and 14th. I don't know. Okay, so this is Iugo. This is by Stephanie Jennifer, CZT. This is Bosch. It is by Maria Vennekins, CZT. And Waybop, of course, is a Zentangle Original. Let's get started on our tile, guys. Let's have some fun. Okay, so 2 of the 3 patterns we're going to do today, I'm going to step out for you, and 1 Waybop we are going to do on the tile. So just quickly, let's take a look at Bosch. I'm going to let you guys read the write-up on Bosch. It is a ribbon tangle that has a cool op effect. You do this by placing triangles, alternating their points up and down, and you want to leave plenty of room, and you want to try to keep the distance between them fairly consistent. It's not the end of the world if they end up a little bit off. All right, and so over here the same thing. Turn this. Okay, right, not too hard. Now, all you have to do is go to each point, each triangular point, and you're going to round this off, like sort of like a piece of dough is being squished through here, okay? Or toothpaste or something like that, something tubular. And you're just going to round this edge off, okay? And going the other direction, you're going to do the same thing. And that's it, right? Okay, so here's the next point. So we're going to take off from the line and just curve around. Take off from this line and round that off, okay? That's all you have to do is take off from the point of the triangle and round that off, land on the line going vertically or horizontally, or up and down depending on what you're doing. Round it off. Whoops, round it off. And if it gets a little, we're going to ink these anyway. Whoop, Simba says hi to Karma and Lynn. And this is it. I have a couple more shout outs for today too. All right, so this is Bosch. And then if your triangles are pointy, you can just even round off those edges just a little bit, just to round off the points. And you will really get that sort of squished in dough looking thing. You don't have to black this if you don't want to. It's entirely up to you. And so here I would probably be doing that. But just a little rounding and some triangles. And this is Bosch. And that is by Vennekins. What is her first name? Marianne Vennekins, I'll have to look it up. Okay, so that's Bosch. Now the second one that we are going to do that is not Waybop is Eugo. That is a Latin word meaning connect. And that one is drawn this way. This is very much a tangle of auras. And we are going to just put some random shapes in here. Okay? They can be close in together. They can be far apart. You could keep them equal distance. You cannot keep them equal distance. Up to you. Okay? You can round these off. You can also square them if that's what you prefer. Each one of these is going to end up being a little rounded aura, or again, you can pointy it if that's what you want. You can finish this off with an orb or something like that. Okay, so let's explore some of the other things. This is it. This is the tangle. Now, you can come out from the bottom and make this more. Okay, you can also curve these, and you can play, as I did here, with some line weight and rounding. This tangle is by Stephanie Jennifer, of course. She is the CZT who does the Inktober Tangles every year. So something like that. Just add a little line weight. So let's look at some ways that we can vary this, because it doesn't have to be rounded. Although I like to do that. Anyway, let's look at this. So what if we did a completely wild shape and we wanted these to be less rounded? Okay, so let's do this. Right? And then we would do the auras in the same way. And we're just going to get smaller each time. And you can stop anytime you want. You can continue on. And through this, you can see that there's many ways to vary this. And again, you can put your line weight rounding a little bit down here in these dips, or wherever else you think might be a good place for them. For it, whatever, this tangle enhancer. You know, you can round off in here if you want. Again, up to you. And you can see that here that we did two very different shapes. Now, these can be done double-sided so that you're getting larger and smaller. You can fit them into shapes. I suggest that you go check out Stephanie's step out for this on her blog site, Everything is Art. Okay, so those are the two new to me tangles. I hope that if they are new to you, that helped you sort of know where to start. Now, let's get a tile out and start for today on Waybop. I want to thank my CZT friend Pat in Texas for these beautiful materials that she sent me. Thank you so much, girl. I appreciate that very much. To keep going. Keep going. Keep on keeping on. All right. Okay, so for Waybop, let me zoom out because I'm afraid I'm going to get out of frame here. We don't want that. Waybop is started with a bunch of little seed shapes, sort of like little apple seeds, okay? And you're going to want to make them in pairs, okay? So you need a multiple of 2. 2, 4, 6, maybe not 2, but 4, 6, 8, 10, etc. Any multiple of 2 is going to work, you know, unless you've gotten so big that they can't be fit on there anymore, and then, you know. So we're going to shoot for 8 today. My first tip is to, you may or may not want to put a dot in pencil in the center of your tile. I'm not going to worry about that today because the message that I want to send to you, if you have not done this tangle before, is to take a deep breath, relax, take another one. It's going to be okay. All right? So these don't have to be perfect. As you will see, I am certain on mine. Okay? So for 8, if you're working on a square tile, it's easiest for me to do a sort of a V shape on each side where these point at the center, and sort of let me show you what I mean. And I don't know if I'm going to make these even or not, but I want to point out this is going to work. Whatever way you end up, it's not supposed to be perfect. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn the tile upside down and do this side now. And I don't want to get too far away, but I also don't want to be too close. If that helps you, not at all, I'm sure. But I'm going to repeat what I did on top and sort of point them in towards each other. Okay, and I'm going to turn this on the side, and I'm going to put in 2 more, so that when we have this filled out, it's vaguely like a circle. And of course, mine is not going to be very circle-like, but I'm not going to worry about it because you're going to see this is going to work out okay. Really, the thing that you want to watch the most for is trying to get your internal points to match up as far as where they come. But you're going to see, as I'm going to show you here, I hope that wasn't one too many, was it? I don't think so. Anyway, okay. So we're going to find out how this works if your seeds aren't even, okay? And it's going to be fine. All right. So pick any pair that you like, any pair at all. And start by, in the center, put a curved line from point to point, okay? And you're going to skip 1, because clearly you can't do that here. And do the next one. Now, if you have a situation like this, like I did, where they weren't, where this one wasn't down far enough, what you can do is this, okay? And we can ink these if that's what we need to do. All right, so don't worry too much. All right, so we're going to skip the next one and then do the next pair. We're going to join each set of little seeds together in this way. And you can tell here, mine is absolutely not perfect, and that's okay. All right. So now what we're going to do is do the same thing, but sort of opposite, okay? We're going to join the tips of these, and we're going to do the other set, okay? So not the set that we joined before, but the next 2 that weren't joined. So from this tip, I'm going to make it a nice rounded curve there, all right? And so we're going to shift the tile. And again, we're not going to join here. We're going to join the next 2. Like this. Waybop is a focal point tangle, meaning that you can use the whole tile for it if that's what you wish. Okay, so this is where we are. That's where they are. Now, we're going to add a set of auras. We're going to do outer auras around all of these and inner auras around all of these. So let's start with the outer and go from there. Now here, you're going to want to try to match up the width so that you have a consistent width on all of these auras, okay? You don't have to, of course, but I think you will be pleased with that outcome. Now remember, this is hand-drawn. It's supposed to look different. So just put it, just relax and draw an aura. That's not too hard. Go a little crazy on that. But see, those touched on this one, and that's absolutely fine, and they didn't on these, and that's fine too. Okay, now we're going to do the inner aura. All right, we're going to do that about the same way we did the last one. And the same width. Why? Because we're going to join these up with each other, and so we want them to match. So I had a great live class with my teacher and mentor and friend, Iugo, today. And I was so thrilled to have a bunch of you guys in there in the class with me. That was awesome. So shout out to Diane Jameson and Linda Feldman and Annie Sargent. And oh my gosh, there's two more. Lori Silva and, oh, there's another one. I'm forgetting you, and I'm really, really sorry, and I know who you are. I can see your face, but I can't remember. I knew I was going to do that. Bad, Cindy. Nah, it's okay. You're going to forgive me, right? Because it was an awesome class. All right. On articulated mulligans. Okay, so now we can do a couple of different things. We're going to join these in each of these gaps here. We're going to join up and do another. We can make a loop here. We can make it into a sort of a teardrop shape, which is what I intend to do. We can do what we want. Now we have rounded these already, but there's a way to switch those up too, if that's what you want to do. So let me show you what I'm going to do. And then, of course, you may choose to do as you wish. So I'm going to start with my outer aura. And I'm going to connect that from one side to the other. All right? And then I'm going to look at this, match it up. And do the same thing here, keeping an eye on these so that they will match up. Okay, so same thing, and these do not have to be exactly the same. They don't have to be perfect. They don't have to match each other. It'll be nice if they do, or maybe you're not into matching, and that's all right. I can deal. I shared our deckled lines with Annie today in class. She thought that was a nice way of looking at it. So, Sue Reynolds, if you are still watching these videos, I love you, sister. Love ya. Okay, now we've got all of these outer corners hooked up. Now we're going to connect our internal loops. Okay, so basically we're going to continue these across. Okay, again, trying to match up your widths and where you start and come in. Some of these may be really narrow, and so you might not have a lot of room for this, and some may be like this one, and you may have quite a gap, and that's absolutely fine. Okay. One more. Yes. Okay, so this is Waybop. Cool, huh? Now, what I like to do sometimes, and I don't always, but I can also come here to these ones without the points, and I can add a point to them if I want to in this way. Just take off from that same line and land, and I can aura that or do whatever I want to. In fact, I think I will. Not quite as effective as the others, but there's no reason you can't do it that way. And so now that I've started, we're going to continue until I've gotten it. And even though it's really not connected down there, it doesn't matter. It's a cool look, I think. So that's if you wanted to do that, that you can do that so that you've got points all the way around. And if you don't like that, you don't have to. Simba says, hey. Simba, quit saying hey, bud. Right. Now, I am going to do some embellishing on my Waybop and let you guys embellish yours if that's what you would like to do. I think I am going to ink in my little seed shapes. And this Micron PN is the perfect tool for that. And then if you had any little fixings to do in there, those will be completely obscured. I'll try to keep my knuckles out of the camera this time. It's always hit and miss with me, isn't it? And I do apologize for that. So it was awesome to see all of you guys in class today, or for you yesterday. And it wasn't nearly as intimidating as you thought it was going to be, was it, Diane? That's my buddy. And I got an email from somebody else that subscribed and wants to do the live class. So next time we'll have a group, and that'll be fun. All right, okay, so that's as far as I've gotten. Now, I'm going to add some, well, that's not really embellishing, and I could do something else. What if I did some rounding in the tips here? Oops, I forgot one, didn't I? So Simba is very invested in the barking right now. He takes his protection very seriously. And he makes people think twice before they mess with us, so that's good. All right, and if you get any stray pen marks, you know, you can always borrow your jelly roll for a sec and dot that right out. So we had an interesting discussion in class today about hot press watercolor paper, and I found it very interesting that Annie prefers the Fabriano Studios because I definitely prefer the Arches paper. But she had a very good point, and that is the Arches is much more economical to purchase, and it works very well as tiles. And so that's what she uses always, as opposed to when she's not using her Zentangle tiles. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. And I thought it was interesting that she decided not to use a Zentangle tile because she was using watercolor. And so that made me want to ask some questions. All right, so I've got that, and that's nice. Now, I'm thinking about doing some vertical lines, but if I remember correctly, going around a circle with those is problematic. Now you can do like start at the center and go out from there. And if you're doing a circle, you can mark north, south, east, west, and then fill in around that, and that works fairly well. So I'm thinking. I think I'm going to try it. It's my north, south, east, and west. Then I'm going to divide those like this. And you tend to get a fairly even distribution. Just keep having it. Or halving it. Again, depending on where you live. Alright, so something like that is fun. I think I'm going to continue that. North, south, east, west. Divide, divide, divide in half, and then fill. Try to divide it with the same number each time. May or may not work, I don't know. Doesn't always for me, but mostly does. But mostly, don't worry about it if it's not perfect. That's my theme for the day. Happy birthday to my nephew, Christopher, who is 20 years old today. Stop growing up. All of y'all, stop it. I'm much too old, young, to have a nephew that old. So stop growing up. I insist. That goes for you too, kid. Don't get older. Get better. Stay cute. The world likes cute. Just saying. Alright. And north, south, east, west. And you would think those would not be a big deal, that you could eyeball it and everything, but I promise you will get more consistent results if you do it that way. I never depend on my eye for these things because that goes so badly so often. All right, I like that. So now I think I'm going to draw an aura around the whole thing and save any further embellishing for later. I'm going to try to keep this consistent, but I'm not off to a very good start. And once again, that's okay. This is hand-drawn art. It's supposed to look hand-drawn. Keep in mind, guys, the more you practice, the better you get. I have to remind myself that every day, or I would get frustrated and give up. But the bottom line is I have improved dramatically over the last few years. So don't give up. Now you'll notice my Waybop is absolutely not perfect, but it's still kind of cool. And we're going to continue to make it cooler. Hopefully. We're going to see what happens. Now, what was our... Let's see, we did Eugo and... What was our other one? Oh, Bosch. Yeah, I liked Bosch. Hey. Keep in mind, we turn our tiles so that we keep our hand as close to the same position for each strip of the pen as possible. Sometimes that's not possible, and that's all right. Okay, now I've got Bosch and Eugo. Eugo, it's been a while since I did Latin, so go with me. And let me think what I want to do with those. Now, one fun thing would be to put Eugo auras in here until they get small. and then I could put Bosch around. Let's do it. See, like that. Don't even have to think. I think I will use more squared off edges on this. Oops. So this is Eugo. Eugo. Okay, I like how that finishes that off, so I'm going to do that on each of these other gaps. Just make it a little shorter each time. These aren't technically R lines, they're more echo lines because they change size, but yeah, we don't care why. Let's just get it done. So how is everybody this week? I am really trying hard to get more of these out, and no matter what I do, it just doesn't seem to work, so I'm going to keep trying. You guys keep being patient, and hopefully we'll get to the end. So that makes a fun effect, doesn't it? And that goes to show the versatility of Eugo. Eugo. That one is challenging my tongue today. Like that. It's not quite not quite the same as the others. Yeah, it'll be all right. It'll be full of personality. Okay. You can see you don't have to make these all the same. Well, that was a little more nice. This one is narrow. These are fat. So again, however you like. And I could make these rounded if I want to, but I don't like the asymmetrical off the wall extra weird stuff. So it's not really what I go for, even though I have learned to look for it and appreciate it. It's still not my favorite thing. All right. Jody C., if you are watching, I still need to get in touch with you about the cover for my easel, because all of my different tryout things that I've been doing have not been working. I really need a cover. And if I don't hear from Jody, if you sew and you think you could make a cover for my little round easel that I've got here, I can send you the dimensions. That would be awesome. I am no longer able to sew, or I can't thread needles, and I can't use the sewing machine anymore because of the arthritis in my hand and my left hand. And so, yeah, if somebody wanted to help me out with that, that would be great. Because I can't thread a needle anymore to save my life. My hand shakes so bad, it either makes me groan or cry or laugh at myself. It's just pitiful. I could teach Mari to do it, but he always huffs a sigh at me anytime I ask for help, so we're just going to leave him alone until he's out of his teenage years, and then we'll ask him for help again. That's not going to happen, buddy. Don't count on it. All right. So I definitely want to add line weight and rounding in these, but before I do that, our last pattern is Bosch, and I think what I would like to do is to try to corner this. Like this. And do Bosch on each corner. I think that's what I'm going to do. And I'm just adding an extra aura for separation. I never know when I'm going to need that, and I always need it if I don't put it, so. All right, and 2 more. All right. Okay, so that might make an interesting edging, and then I'm going to go back in here and do some more inking. I'm going to switch from my PN to my 01 for that, so that hopefully I don't make a big mess. That is always my hope. I'm coming to embrace my messes, though, more and more. I know I'm very much a different person as far as my confidence goes than I used to be. So this one could have been a little bit further in, but that's all right. Again, does not have to be perfect. All right, I am going to, well, nope, I didn't finish. Okay, so on in the middle of each one of these, I'm going to start with my pointing up triangle. Okay. And remember, these do not have to be perfect. And as always, that is a good thing for me. All right, now from the tips of my triangles, round and round. You might want to turn your tile. I'm definitely not having as easy time going this direction as I was the other, so might leave that. See if I can get this one in. It's always hard when you're next to the edge like that. All right, I think I will ink these since I have already been difficult here. All right, find my triangles again. Okay. All right, and we'll do this. So that will be Bosch. And we'll just round this a little bit here. Okay. So that's what I'm going to do in the corners. I like that pretty well. So let's just go ahead and do some zenning. And I'm going to go in and draw the rest of my Bosch. And then I'm going to skip over here and do some line weight and rounding on Eugo. Someday I'll be able to say that. Someday. When you're drawing your triangles, make sure you leave plenty of room, like I didn't do there at the top. And all right. Like that. I don't know why I'm having that that issue, but I'll work on it. Sideways may be better for me. And of course, I left my fan on. I only realize it when it gets quiet. And then it's too late. I like this Bosch pattern. I think if I practice it a little bit and get a little more comfortable with it, it's going to be pretty cool. Alright. Nifty. That's a very southwest looking thing, isn't it? Or maybe Aztec, I don't know. I'm just going to keep drawing them and hope for the best. Alright. And you can see it doesn't matter if your triangles are perfect or not. They're still going to work. Oops. That was a little too close, but I think we're still going to be okay. Let's turn this on the side to begin with before we get started. Oh yeah, that's much better. Okay. I meant to switch to my 01, didn't I? Now it's too late. Actually, it's not. I think I meant to tangle with the pen anyway. When I get to this next part, I'll switch. Okay. And one more. Okay. Sideways Cindy. I have loved reading about y'all's kitties and doggies this week. Thank you to those of you who sent me messages or left comments. I wish I could predict what our dog would do with a kitty friend. It would be cheaper to adopt. But I don't think he'd have as much fun. Alright, now I'm going to switch to my 01, and I'm going to do some line weight and rounding on the Waybop and the Eugo. Eugo. I'm working on it. Alright, 01, where is it? Okay. I will probably put some music on. We'll just see how it goes. There may be some spots I'm going to touch up with a jelly roll, and that's going to be all right. So let's just see what happens. I'm just going to start around the edges by rounding each of these little spots. And I'm switching to a 0-1 because it is easier to not make a mess if you use a larger nib size for your tangling and then you do your embellishing with a smaller size, for example, the rounding, which I struggle with getting out of control on. So this was a suggestion of Annie Oken, and it's a good one. And so that's what I'm doing, is I'm not going over all the lines, but in these little gaps here. And my set downs and lift offs are going to be a lot easier to hide since the PN on the line was bigger. Yeah, I like this already. This is going to help finish off this outer edge, I think. Drawn another R around that, but that's all right. So this is pretty subtle, but it does make a big difference. Or maybe it's not as subtle as you would like and you don't want to do this, you don't have to. Home stretch, as we say in baseball. Right, so now that I've gone around the edge, and I may still Well, I can't really add an aura now. We'll see. We'll see what we end up with here. So now I'm going to go into Waybop a little bit and see what I can do in here. I can move my camera a little bit and get closer to me. So I'm going to go into Waybop and see what I can do with line work and rounding and all of that to sort of make this a little bit more interesting. Since this is the focal point, I really want to pop this out, and right now it's just a bunch of lines, I think. So I want to do something to make this a little bit more dynamic. I'm going to start by adding some little hatch lines here to give that feeling of overlap. I'm not going to go crazy with them, just add a little bit. And hopefully the goal is to enhance the shading just a little bit with that. Still trying to decide about putting a texture of some kind on these Waybop things. I haven't decided yet, so I'm going to keep doing what I do and come back to that thought. No barking, buddy. Me is coming to the end. Now for this right here, I'm going to dot a bit of jelly roll on here and sort of just smooth out that edge. Other than that, I think this is okay. Well, I'm not going to worry about it. Hopefully shading will make this interesting enough to where that won't be an issue. And if not, I'm going to live with it. Because it doesn't have to be a masterwork every time I sit down. Inktober is very much like the 100 Days project in that the goal is to spend some dedicated time tangling every day. Now, that is not the goal of the 100 Days project. The goal for that is more creative time. But we have adapted it for our own use. That's fine. I like it. And you do not have to do this if you do not wish to. You can do this with shading just as easily. I have learned from my teacher to do as much work with the pen as possible, and that saves a lot on shading. And it does. It does indeed. Did I get them all except for this one? All right, now, okay, so I'm going to go back in here and do some rounding. At the dips on these, on this Eugo. I don't know why I have to hesitate every time, but I do. There, so that makes that look much more dynamic, doesn't it? At least in my opinion. And this one is more rounded, so we're going to do the same type of thing. It's just going to be a little more subtle than that, I think. I'm just going to put a little extra weight here at the bottom, sort of on the side here, just a little bit. I'm not trying to make it just very symmetrical so that it's in the center. I'm just trying to sort of look at the dip there and see where it makes the most sense, and that may make you crazy, I don't know. It frequently makes me crazy as well. Okay. Got a lot going on this. Might have to do something to get some clarity on this. We'll see. See how it looks when we get done. As always, we are not going to prejudge our results. We are going to take this one step at a time, one tangle at a time, one enhancement at a time. Breathe through it. We're not going to rush. Just going to relax and spend some time rounding some corners off. Just take your time. Breathe. Don't get in a rush. And I think you'll find out that our result ends up being something very neat. At least that's what I hope for. Usually, that's what I get. Which is why I believe in this. I'm doing these all to the other side this time. Okay. Okay, I think I've got two more. This really does make a difference, at least in my opinion. You guys may feel differently about it. What do you think? What kind of a difference do you think rounding and line weight makes to your compositions? Do you use them very often, or is it something you forget a lot? It's becoming the very first place I go to when I want to enhance a piece of art. Of course, it doesn't always work with everything, but that's, that's Zentangle. Okay, so let me see. One thing I could do to really make these very dynamic would be to check them a la Night Bridge, and I could do them. So let's try that. Let's try that on one of these four that don't have the rounded top on them. And let's see how that goes. So I'm going to start right here. Some largish size divisions in this, like this. And this is going to be one of those north, south, east, west things. So if you start having trouble with these, divide them up. Okay, so let's start here and just go. As always, when inking, slow down, take your time. We're not in a rush. At least I try not to be. It's a tough thing to learn. So if that's light, this one will be black. That may diminish the effectiveness of inking these internal things, which is something I didn't consider, but I think since it's checked, we'll be all right. The eye is still going to see what we want it to see, I think. Simba, come on, bud. Hopefully I ended up with the right number. I didn't. Which is, can be a crapshoot. So what I do in these instances where I need an extra space here is I make one like this. And just make one right where the line is. And usually that works. Okay, so let's look at this. Yeah. Well, now that I've done it, I'm going to have to do it on the rest of them anyway, right? So let's do that. All right. Okay. And I think I'll leave that right now, and we'll see where we end up. So, might as well start at the same place. If for no other reason, then it helps me. Okay. Checking something is one of those other, things that you can do that really bring out the drama in something very simply. Okay, so then this will be white over here, so this will be black. And so again, I came out just a little bit off, so now I have left myself enough room to add a space here. Okay, so I like that. Two more. North, south, east, west. All right. Okay. Alright. I suspect these will all be the same, so I'll just take my precautions, see where we end up. Okay, so this will be like this book. Oh, this I may not need that at all. Okay, so that one turned out right. Rock and roll. Okay, so I've got those now. I've got these other ones that were not connected, and I can treat those like they're part of the Eugo, or I can do something a little different with them. I think. Well, I think I'm going to do some shading first, and then I may still come back in here. I think first I'm going to draw an R line around this internal little knot. Like this. I do not know how this is going to work. Probably not very well. Let's find out. We can just do what we want in here, can't we? Let's see, what else do we not have? Well, that's a mess. Yes, it is, but it's an interesting mess, so I'm going to leave it for now. I might just black in random pieces of it, I don't know. Okay, so let's do some shading and see what happens. This will be fun. So I'm going to start with Waybop, and of course every place where it overlaps. And so especially in these areas, and some of them are going to be inked and won't be as effective, and you don't need to put graphite on those. However, you may. It's just that it's going to shine when you photograph it or look at it in a certain light, so it's something you want to consider. Okay. I'm not sure how effective the shading is going to be in here, but we're going to do it because it just needs to be done. Okay. Okay. Well, you do get lost in what's going over what part here, don't you? I may have been a little bit crazy with my lines on this. I don't know. We're going to find out. And if I was, that's okay. I learned something. They don't have to be perfect, guys. And that message is for me most of all. All right. And did I do up here? I think so. Let me make sure I've got all these spots. Okay. No, there's no shading that, but we can do this. So like I said, some spots it's going to work, some spots it's not. Just try to go with the flow. Now let me find a tortillon, see if I can buff some of this out a little bit. They never stay where I put them, those naughty tortillons. Yep. Okay. Aha! There they are. Timber, what are you hunting, buddy? They are? Why?
I don't know. Are you done with your video?
Almost. Why is that? What would you like to do, baby?
I can't tell because you're involved.
I'm almost done, sweetie. Give me like 10 minutes. Okay. So the kiddo wants to hang out, and since he doesn't want to hang out with me very often, we're going to do that. So this is how I'm going to be shading this. On Bosch, I am shading along the same side of each triangle, or the side that is facing the same direction on each triangle. I think that gives it a really cool dimensional look. Makes it a bit 3D. I get all the sides. I think I did. Starting to lose my mind with the glare. Okay, so now blend it out. Now once again, everybody's may look completely different, and that is just cool. I wish we had the abilities to make mosaics where we all show what we've done together. But I think it's pretty neat. If you guys want to see what other people are doing, go check out what's going on Instagram. Go to my profile and you can take a look at what people have done. Simba, no. I'm saying goodbye to everybody. Be nice. So Simba is in the house. He clearly thinks it's about him. Of course, the kid thinks so too. That's all right. That's all right. With the checking on here, it is hard for me to remember which is on top of what. So if I get it wrong, don't talk about me. So I have chosen on this Eugo, I have chosen one side to darken with shading of each one of these, and it's the same one on each side. I don't care about the light source on this, so I'm just going to go with it. It may be darker in some than others, I don't know. All right, guys, this is where we're going to stop today. I'm going to try to keep up with Inktober by doing a couple of tangles per video. It's clear to me that I am not going to catch up, so I'm just going to start where you're at, and we'll see how it goes. I don't want to make rash promises because things have been a little up in the air with the schedule lately. So we'll just see what happens. Now, starting in 2 weeks, my little one goes, or not so little one, goes back to school. And so that is going to enable me to have some quality time to do some videos in. And hopefully I'll be able to come up with a few more per week than one. All right. So this is basically how I'm going to handle this. I don't know, as far as this Waybop goes, if I'm going to play with that any further. I'm not just real excited about the way that looks. I think with adding the Eugo on the edges, that sort of changed its essence. So I'm gonna think about this a little bit more, and we'll see what comes up. I do like this sort of flowery thing going on in the middle, so we'll see what happens, guys. Thank you so much for being with me today. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna see you guys in the next lesson. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you would like to see more videos. Thank you so much for supporting this channel, and I am going to see you in the next lesson.
Finally done?
I'm finally done, baby.
Why?
What would you like to do with me, baby?
What I wanted to do.
This is going to end up being something about you that's not about me, isn't it?
Nope. I'm actually looking at something.
What are you looking at? Oh, you're going to beg for something?
Nope.
Hey! We're cooking now.
But actually, maybe.
Dude, letting me down.